Well, good afternoon. Welcome to our February 20th, 2023 meeting of Gaston County Board of Education. I'm Jeff Ramsey, Chairman of the Board, and to my left is our Vice Chair, Dot Cherry. We want to welcome everyone here tonight, and we want to share good news with you also. So while we get started, Mr. Dedman, introduce yourself.
Lee Dedman, Gastonia Township.
Josh Crisp, Dallas Township.
Robbie Lovelace, Cherryville Township.
Todd Kinlaw, South Point Township.
Dot Guthrie, Gastonia Township.
A.M. Stevens, Riverbend Township.
Brett Moore, Crowders Mountain Township.
Thank you. Our first order of business is to have our prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. I would like to ask Dr. Booker to lead us in the invocation and the pledge.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, as we come together tonight, I must acknowledge I am very troubled. It is hard to be here. When we come and I am asked to pray, I think often about our students, our staff, and there's a lot of risk in groups being together. And we have a lot to be grateful for because we have been protected in many ways. But unfortunately, as we come together this evening, there's a tragedy in our community, and it will affect our school family forever, but particularly tomorrow. And so I would just ask at this time that we pause for a moment of silence and we think about that family and all that the pain that will come from this. So please join me. Father God, we pray in this time of loss that your love is more. We are hurting people, and there are tragedies throughout the world, but today's events come close, and they make our world feel small. We seek and ask for your comfort and presence, and that it could be felt in our community. We pray that you pour out your sweet, amazing grace on all of us, but in particular that family. That you allow your peace and all that you have to overflow the hearts. And we seek to rest in your loving arms. Father, I can't imagine it. And I just ask that you be with us all. In your precious name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Dr. Booker. Our next order of business is to adopt the agenda. Do I have a motion on the floor?
So moved.
So, second, all in favor? That's unanimous. Our next order of business is to hear good news happening in our school. Dr. Booker, will you share some good news?
Sure, thank you. I would like to ask Mr. Josh Crowder to come forward, please. Josh is a member of South Point High School, and in November, he was named the recipient of the Michael A. Kahn Community Service Scholastic Scholarship Award. This prestigious award is presented to a high school senior in the Charlotte region who best exemplifies the spirit of community stewardship, academic excellence, and accomplishment on the athletic field, in particular football. Josh was recognized by the Charlotte Touchdown Club at a black tie dinner and ceremony in December. The recognition not only comes with a good meal, a $40,000 scholarship. Josh will be asked to continue his community service by doing 2 projects a year that get at least 24 hours of community service. I'm sorry, Josh. Also, this week, or last week, Josh learned that he has been accepted to the United States Military Academy at West Point. Congratulations.
Josh, at this time, I'd like to present you the Michael Akon Community Service Scholarship Award. I know as a athlete that came through Gaston County Schools, played all through the 12 years, I know how much dedication and hard work that you put into that. And so, you know, I appreciate your willingness to do that, and I think this community feels the same way. We wish you all the best. And we pray that God will keep his hand on you and watch over you as you move through your military service. And again, we do thank you for that.
Thank you.
Picture. And after we get this picture, Mr. Ford, I see you out there, and any members of the family, if you would like to come up and join for the picture, please.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Way to go, Mom. We'll check your hand too.
Yeah, come on, Mom. Yeah, man. They're gonna give you a nice There we go.
Save those.
Congratulations.
I'll tell them.
Congratulations. All things from the community. Yeah, that's it. How you doing?
Thank you so much.
Many of you know we have a long tradition of great success in the spelling bee. And earlier this month, the Gaston County School Spelling Bee was held at Ashbrook High School. I see Dr. Denton out there. He was instrumental in calling the words out and gets a lot of ribbing from his peers about that. But we appreciate the role you play in that and all of the folks in academic services. So we have tonight with us the top 5 finishers in the spelling bee. And first, we'd like to recognize our champion, Rex Dover of Belmont Middle School.
They've been winners for
I don't have
you.
any left after this year, so.
Rex, come on, AM. AM's one of our new board members, so we're breaking them in on how much fun it is to give awards and celebrate all the great things we do in Gaston County. So I'm gonna let you hold it, and
All right.
you
I'll
don't
hold
get
it.
to talk yet. but-
Congratulations. I was actually there at the spelling bee. Did a great job.
AM was at the spelling bee too, along with myself and Mr. Dedman, and we were watching you. You're amazing. You were amazing. So I know your parents and Mr. Redmond and everybody else is proud of you. We're proud of all the kids because they were little troopers. It was a long morning and a nerve-wracking morning for everybody that was there. But you were awesome. You were awesome. So you've got some big feet and big shoes to fill. So we are very, very proud of you. So you want to do them all, Todd, and then, or you want to do pictures first, or what do you want?
We've got some others going
Okay.
Yeah. We have some.
Mr. Chair, let's get you on this side of Rex. Now after this, we'll bring up your principal and whoever's here with you.
Smile.
And then one more. All All right.
Come on, Mom. Who wants to be beside you?
You can just get a little closer to Mr. Stevens. There you go. And one more. All right.
Thank you, whoever's turning on the air, by the way. Because it's been real hot.
Yes, well, absolutely.
Stay down.
Now, you can bet your brother's numbers.
Now, Rex had to compete in a field of 38 students to actually win the district competition, and the top 4 finishers receive an invitation to advance to the Scripps National Spelling Bee. But we want to recognize our runner-up and remaining top finishers. So as I ask, call your name out, if you could come join us here in the front. From Pleasant Ridge Elementary, our runner-up, Lawrence Martin. Third place, Carrie Clay of Southwest Middle School. And then Cassidy Allen of Bessemer City Central. Along with Harmony Vaughn of Woodhill Elementary. Is Harmony with us? Okay. Here comes Harmony.
The ultimate trooper for these kids, we're troopers too. Because if you, I know everybody's seen the spelling bee, but you get up, you spell that word, I was always out on the first try. So I got to sit down and heckle, but I got up, you had to sit back down and take that breath, get up again, they pronounce the word, give me a definition, all this stuff, sit back down. It takes a long time. And I know it was nerve-wracking and kind of got boring a little bit too until it was your turn again. So these kids did a phenomenal job.
Yes, they did.
They really did. And Lawrence, how did it feel for you and Rex to keep going back and forth and back and forth? It was scary? Well, we are just so very proud of all of y'all though. Y'all did such an amazing job and to be in the top 5, pretty darn good. Pretty darn good.
Very good.
Congratulations to all of you. So we're gonna get some pictures and then get your parents and your principals up here and then we're gonna let y'all shake some hands, okay? Do we need to squish in some more?
Yep, squish in. There we go. All right. And one more. All right. Now for parents and principals.
Come on.
Sorry.
And we can get out of this.
Yeah.
I was thinking I barely can pick over his shoulders. I was gonna say. Here, I'll give him a break.
Do you see everybody?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right, who's not smiling?
Yeah, perfect. Yeah, just, there's your. All
Way
right.
to go.
And one more. Thank you.
Okay, y'all go shake everybody's hand? How proud they are of you.
We are so proud of you.
I want to appreciate all the parents for helping us with that event by getting your students here, so thank you for that. Next, we want to recognize our top 10 schools from our United Way campaign this year for the year of 22-23. I think the board knows that we are one of the largest contributors to the United Way campaign, and their programs are focused on 3 areas: education, health, and financial stability. Our contribution this year was $89,409, and I want to thank everyone who participated in the fundraising efforts in supporting this. Leading the fundraising efforts for this year were Cramerton Middle and Hunter Huss. Both schools raised more than $5,000 each. So we appreciate their efforts, and we want to recognize all 10 of our top schools tonight, beginning with Cramerton Middle School. Principal Kevin Doran and Assistant Principal Beth Crosby. Are either one of them both here? Thank you.
Board here, Crampton Middle School, top 10 school United Way fundraising campaign, signed by your chairman and by your superintendent, Jeffrey Butler. Great job. Thank you all for doing that. Thank you very much.
One more? All right.
Do you want them up here for a group picture?
Next, I'd like to ask Dr. Denton and Principal William Winston or Whitney Hill, both if they're here, or just you, Brian? Great, we got some folks, thanks. This is Hunter Huss High School.
I know Dr. Cherry is really jealous I'm down there. Top 10 school United Way fundraising campaign, February 20, 2023, signed by Chairman Ramsey and Dr. Bush. We were really proud of you.
Thank you.
Y'all know how important United Way is. Absolutely. Right there. Miss Guthrie. We got the picture. That's what they want.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank y'all. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.
Next, if I could ask Principal Lenara Henderson and Assistant Principal Donnie Johnson to come representing Woodhill Elementary School.
I am excited to be able to present this. We are united in our partnership, and we appreciate what the United Way does for our school system and for the community. And we appreciate you and what you do through your leadership. We are proud on behalf of Gaston County Schools, our board, to present this certificate of recognition to Woodhill School, top 10 school, fundraising campaign. We like money. Thank you, and we present this to you proudly. Thank you.
And one more. All right.
Next, I would ask Southwest Middle School. Principal Glenn Cook.
Mr. Cook. We are very happy at this time once again to present to you this wonderful, wonderful recognition because of your work, your leadership in our county. We want you to know we appreciate you for the strong partnership that you share with the United Way. Congratulations to you and your faculty, staff, and students.
And one more. All right, thank you.
Next is Greer Middle School. Yeah. Dr. Amy Holbrook and O'Brien Williams.
Gee whiz, I saw you just a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, ma'am.
We are so proud, it makes us very proud when we can stand in recognition of the work that you do through your schools, your faculty, your staff, and the United Way. So it is a privilege as well as a pleasure to have the opportunity to present this to you and to thank you for the wonderful work that you do each and every day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Slide you guys down some. Keep going. There you go. All right. Perfect. One, two, and one more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, H.H. Beam Elementary School, Principal Ryan Smith. And I see that Miss Deanna Kennedy's with us as well. See you, Deanna.
Well, here I come again, because we are bringing you something, because you have given us something. And we greatly appreciate your leadership. We greatly appreciate your participation in activities that enhance the quality of our children and our schools. So it is a great pleasure to say thank you for what you do in your schools to move our children ahead and to promote your school in the community. Thank you.
And one more. Thank you.
Next, Forest View High School. Good afternoon, James. James Hilburn is attending, Assistant Principal.
On behalf of the board, we'd like to recognize Forest View High School leading the top 10 United Way fundraising campaign. And we appreciate y'all's effort on this. And I was going to ask Dr. Booker at the end to see what the total is. But I want to appreciate it. Thank you for what you do.
Thanks, sir.
Picture. We got it. You got it.
Thank you.
And one more. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, North Gaston High School. And I believe they are not able to be with us tonight, as well as Highland School of Technology. So we thank both of their faculty and think of them at this time. And last but not least, Warlick Academy. Hey, Ms. Summit, good to see you. This is Tamara Summit from Warlick Academy.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for all the work you do on behalf of our board, Warwick Academy Top 10 School United Way fundraising campaign. Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
And one more. Thank you.
So Chairman Ramsey, you asked, many of our schools got very creative to energize students along with staff to participate in the United Way campaign. These 10 schools that we just recognized, of the 89,000, they raised $37,000. Also see someone sitting out there that runs the coordination of this and works with the United Way from beginning to end. So I'd like to recognize Valerie Yatko for serving as our coordinator for the district. Thank you, Valerie. And so to all who participated in the United Way campaign, whether you gave $10, $100, or $1,000, whatever you gave is appreciative because it reaches our whole community, and every dollar does count. And so reaching almost $90,000 at this time is a great thing. And so, Mr. Chair, that is the good news for now. Thank you.
Ms.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The superintendent had such wonderful news, but I asked if I could just share a tiny bit more good news about my trips last week to some of the schools. As all of you know, February is Black History Month, and we have been, the African American Museum has worked with singer Maria Howell, and we asked her to join us at two of the elementary schools last week. And I am telling you, I was so excited. I was thrilled. We walked into Woodhill Elementary School. We were met by the principal. Maria Howell was a student at Woodhill while growing up as a child. But the children, I just want to say I was so excited. I called the superintendent, but he didn't talk to me. But I was excited because the children were engaged. They walked in to the gym quietly under the principal's leadership. They sat down, they participated, they were engaged. It was so wonderful to see that happening. And after the first session, they marched out quietly. Second group came in under the leadership of the principal. They did exactly what she said. They became engaged. They marched out, and I marched out because I was excited too. Then on Thursday, we went to Sherwood Elementary School, and Principal Garanto and Tangela Hinton were there. Those children did the same thing. Gaston County, we have a lot to be proud of, and I am very proud when I say to Principal Henderson, who's sitting in this audience tonight, we thank you for your leadership, and we thank you for your role modeling, what you do for the children each and every day. We talk about changes. We have seen some changes, and they are all great changes. I'm going to give you a hand. I'm going to ask the board to do the same thing.
Thank you.
I would like to clarify, I returned your call.
I was going to say, I knew better than that. So also on that, I had the opportunity in the last 2 weeks to attend two of our Gaston County nonprofit organizations. The first one was Gaston Education Foundation. We all know the famous Smarter Than the Fifth Grader. So the first thing you get is earplugs. And you'll know why you get earplugs. I had a Miss Armstrong share with us, says, look, I've been for 10 years cheerleading camps and competition. There's nothing like the sound that these kids can generate. But the good news is, I don't know how much they raise. They usually raise $30,000 to $50,000 off that, and we want the person to just thank them for that. And then also that Saturday, I had the opportunity to go to the African American Museum Gala, Miss Dot Guthrie's program, and it was jam-packed. They actually, the fire marshal said there's nobody else can go in this place. But what that tells me, that we have a great place to grow up here in Gaston County, that all these nonprofit organizations working for our children in Gaston County. And that's what makes the difference here. So I just wanted to thank the organizations, what they do for our county and our school system.
I made a mistake. Mr. Chair, one more thing. Greer Middle School, please forgive me. For 3 straight days, Greer Middle School was involved in programming. They traveled to the African American Museum. Lisa Jones and the principal, Holbrook, should be commended. Those young folk came and they did what they were asked to do. They were focused, and we moved them through the museum. I am just so proud of what we're doing. Yes, there are some things that we need to continue to show improvement on, but we have made lots and lots of progress, and we need to focus on much of the progress that we're making as well, because when we are united and move forward as a school district, we are moving our children ahead, and we are preparing them for life skills, which are so essential. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Guthrie. The next item on our agenda allows the opportunity for public expression. This is a time when the board will hear comments from our citizens about the matters of public concerns related to the school system. Our board policy sets aside for the first 30 minutes of our regular monthly meeting for citizens to address the board. Before we hear from the public, let me outline the rules and procedures. Citizens wishing to make comments and who have completed a request to speak form prior to the beginning of the meeting will recognize by the chair and then requested step to the microphone to make comments. Citizens will state their name and address for the record. Comments will be limited to 3 minutes. Members of the board do not respond to public expression during the public comment period. Public expressions is not allowed to comments for confidential or personnel matters. Speakers who wish to give material to the board will hand it to our clerk. The chair shall rule all points ordered during the public expression. We have, I think, 4 people. The first person is Elizabeth Haywood.
Dr. Booker, members of the board, esteemed colleagues, my name is Elizabeth Haywood, and my address can be found on my form. I am speaking to you tonight in regards to the ongoing pay issues of Gaston County Schools. I am a product of Gaston County Schools, having grown up in Dallas. I am a proud 5th grade teacher at Costner Elementary, where I attended elementary school as a child. My 3 daughters are also students in Gaston County Schools. I am a huge proponent of public schools. I am a huge proponent of Gaston County Schools, but I am personally affected with this big pay issue. I was overpaid in August 2022, and I followed all the chains of commands. I reported it to my principal. I filled out numerous Google forms. I met with the customer service team. I heard nothing for months, and I have still not been contacted by anybody by the end of December. As of today, I have not received any helpful information about how I can repay my overpayment. In January 2023, I received my W-2, and it listed my overpayment as part of my earned wages for 2022. I reached out to 3 school board members and shared my concerns with them directly. Within the week, I was contacted by 2 employees with Gaston County Schools. Both of these individuals could not locate the files that I had shared in the Google Forms or with the customer service team. After a week, I received a document with a written payback amount. It didn't make sense to me, so I reached out again and asked for more information. I requested I be informed of how my retirement that was extra in August was going to be taken out of my Orbit account and how the extra repaid funds were going to be taken off of my 2022 W-2. No answer could be given to those questions. This is extremely concerning to me. I was then told once I remitted the funds, it would not be shown on my 2022 W-2, but instead my 2023 W-2. Therefore, I am stuck paying higher taxes this year with the promise of lower taxes next year that may or may not happen. This is entirely unacceptable. This is not an isolated incident. There are at least 8 teachers at my 1 elementary school, Costner Elementary, that are dealing with this same issue. We were all overpaid in August. We have asked to sit down with somebody to talk about repaying the funds. Some of the employees have children who are college students. They are relying on accurate accounting for their earnings for their FAFSA accounts to help with their children's college tuition. This is a terrible situation for them, as it would look like they get less financial aid because they are making more money, and they really didn't make that money. I am happy to repay the funds. I have the funds and am ready to repay it, but I feel like I am getting no help in doing so. I have hired an accountant to work on my taxes because it is such a mess, and I have been advised not to file my taxes because I know that the W-2 is incorrect. So I am stuck waiting on a return that my family could use. This is truly a nightmare situation that educators are living daily, and it has created unnecessary stress and hardships. It is never far from my mind nor my colleagues' minds. We talk about it daily. Please resolve these ongoing pay issues and fix the mistakes in the past in a timely manner. Thank you.
Thank you. Melinda Goddard.
Hello, I'm Melinda Goddard. I'm a kindergarten teacher at Pinewood Elementary. This is my second year teaching, and it will have to be my last year if the payroll situation does not get fixed. I came out of college so excited to begin a career in public education, but after only 4 months in January of last year, when the payroll system changed, all of that came tumbling down. I have been missing pay throughout my checks over the last 13 months. I still go to school every day solely just for the kids. They are not the ones who should be writing me a check. I've got 6 copies here printed out with everything I'm missing, along with check numbers. I'm ready to give this to someone tonight. I have called, emailed, and gone in person to try to get this resolved, and I've been more than patient. How do you expect teachers to stay, especially new ones?
Would you like to, or come to our clerk here and give that to him? Thank you. Laura Farmer.
Hi, my name is Laura Farmer from Gastonia, North Carolina. I retired March 1st, 2022, with more than 30 years teaching in Gaston County schools, and now working as a substitute to help my friends out, to also encourage them to push through in hopes of better years to come. My payroll issues began in January of 2022 with additional withholdings being taken out of bonus checks and other pay not a part of monthly checks. This turned into thousands of dollars misplaced or deducted. I could not get this fixed in Oracle myself, and no one would assist me. I tried. When I did retire, the annual leave payout of over $7,000 was missing for 10 months, first showing on a pay stub in June, but did not make it to my annuity until December. And I should have received take-home pay of 15% minus the taxes, but got 0. Then my substitute pay and bonuses after December, that December annuity check went in, started going, all that substitute pay and bonuses from the end of December started going into my annuity as well, which should not have happened. One pay stub showed I was still a teacher and salaried, not an hourly as a sub. December 30th, my take home was 62 cents due to $599 going into the annuity, which I could not touch without penalty. I notified finance, and of course they said they would research it, and I waited. The January 27th check, so over a month later, reflected a refund for 403B contributions, but the numbers did not make sense. This occurred again on February 10th, at which time I figured out that I was double refunded in January, then single refunded in February. It's very hard to figure things out when you don't know what the money came from or where it went. Surveys to fill out, emailing the superintendent, administration saying she will get paid, does not work when it takes 4 weeks, nor when it takes 10 months with no interest on that annuity. We cannot figure this out when there's no detailed explanation. The taxpayers in this county should be furious. I am. Federal, state taxes, overtaxed. I will never see that money again. Trust is gone, hope is gone. So sad for those in this county who feel like they cannot leave. So sad for Gaston County students who have already lost some of the most wonderful teachers I know to other counties, South Carolina, and retirement when they were willing to work here more years but needed a solid, trusted paycheck. I should not need to still be dealing with this issue. Please get it fixed soon. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Stephanie Bass.
My name is Stephanie Best, and I reside in Gaston County. Matthew 25:40. Truly, I tell you, whatever you did for one of the least of my brothers and sisters, you did for me. It is well documented that the transition to a new payroll system in January of last year resulted in many errors in employee pay and retirement benefits. The things that these women, these wonderful, capable, professional, caring women have shared with you tonight brings me to tears. I hope it does to you too. Throughout 2022, Dr. Booker and his staff failed in numerous ways to manage this crisis effectively. That said, in the fall of 2022, this board was assured that the W-2s in January 2023 would be accurate and that by December of 2022, all of this would be done, made right. In all the ways that you've heard tonight and in many, many more that you have not heard tonight, this is still going on and it is shameful. I am standing here as just a citizen and a taxpayer of Gaston County. I am ashamed. I am enraged. It's not right. In addition to the promises that were broken in this room in front of all of you and all of you, the federal tax law has also been broken. U.S. Statute 6722, failure to furnish correct payee statements reads, and I quote, imposition of penalty. Paragraph 1, general rule. In the case of each failure described in paragraph 2, by any person with respect to a payee statement, such a person shall pay a penalty of $250 for each statement with respect to which such a failure occurs. But the total amount imposed on such person for all such failures during any calendar year shall not exceed $3 million. Paragraph 2, failures subject to penalty.
Thank you. If you want to submit.
I
that one.
submit this written
Okay.
statement.
Okay, thank you. And thank you for all your comments. The next item on the agenda is the approval and correction of minutes. I need a motion for the January 27th and regular meeting and the board retreat. Mr. Dedman, Mr. Chris second. All in favor? That's unanimous. Next item on the agenda is our school business system modernization. This is the information item. Gary Hoskins.
Good afternoon, Chairman Ramsey, Vice Chair Cherry, members of the board, Superintendent Booker. Here to provide an update on the school business systems modernization project. As you've heard already today, we still have some issues out there that we're continuing to work to resolve. We have the global issues that we're currently working on are retirement contributions, multiple deductions from our employee paychecks, and the comp time pay rate. We have resolved 3 of the global issues, and those are EPI teacher deductions, Aspire overtime pay, and longevity payments. Starting with the retirement contributions, our Orbit file has been submitted through September and accepted through August. We're working as quickly as we can to get this caught up. Obviously, this is not a level that's acceptable to us or our employees. The Empower 401k is up to date through January, In our other retirement plans, the 457 and 403B are 1 month behind in December. Multiple deductions, which some people have already talked about today. These are a number of employees that had excessive deductions that we're working to get through those as quickly as we can. These issues do take some research because some have been resolved and some have not. But we're working through those issues. And also the comp time pay rate. This is where our employees that earn comp time earn it at the rate that was in effect at the time that they earned the comp time. They should be earning it at the current rate. And as you know, a lot of employees went from $13 an hour to $15 an hour. So in that case, if they earned the comp time when they were earning $13 an hour, but took it now, they were getting paid at $13 an hour. So we're working to get that resolved. I won't spend much time on these. These have been corrected. The EPI teacher deductions, Aspire overtime pay, and longevity. Those are just the global issues, but we have, a number of individual issues. The global issues affected a large population of our employees. Individual issues affected individuals for various reasons. We continue to go through those on a one-on-one basis through payroll. It is an ongoing process. A lot of the individual issues that are outstanding are incorrect deductions, overpayments, comp time pay rate, retirement contributions, and leave balance accrual. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So when we converted in January, between January and September, we had various methods of collecting payroll issues, mainly through Google survey, Google Sheets. We had 1,834 issues that were reported to us during that 9-month period. In October, we had the customer care team go to the schools. That number dropped down to 962. And as of right now, we still have about 500 issues that we are still working on. Also, we've mentioned, someone mentioned earlier that the W-2s, ADP does our W-2s. They process all of our pay slips. They have access to our pay information, tax information. On January 28th, we had about 5,000 W-2s that were mailed to our employees, and those were based on funds paid to employees in the year 2022. We have had to print or reprint and distribute 115 Form W-2s to individuals that did not receive that initial mailing for whatever reason. There's a gentleman in my office whose wife works here, and she got her W-2 and he didn't. They've both been here for 10 or 12 years. So there's a number of people, 115, that we've had to print. We continue to do that as we are made aware of these situations. The W-2s did have some issues. They had the vendor's return address. We've been working with ADP to figure out, why they pulled the vendor's address, not ours. They should have pulled our address. And also box 13, retirement plan. If you just had the pension, that was not checked. However, if you had a 401k, 403b, 457, it was checked. But it should have been checked for anybody that had a pension or any other retirement plan. We are currently working on filing about 30 Form W-2Cs. Those are errors that we are aware of. The primary error that we've seen is the federal payments and the state payments. I can't remember the boxes, but they should be the same, but they were different. And so we are going through and correcting those and resubmitting that to the IRS. There were 121 overpayments. As was already mentioned here, if the repayments were made during 2022, that number or amount was not included in the 2022 W-2s. However, if it was not, It was included in the W-2 for 2022. Also, taxes were paid on that overpayment amount. And we're currently working with ADP to get these W-2s online. ADP had indicated that they would be online as soon as they were mailed, but that's not yet been the case. So we're continuing to work with ADP to get that out there. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Okay, anyone
I've
have
got
any
a few.
questions? Okay.
So, let's start with ADP. When are they going to, take care of getting this stuff online? If that was part of their agreement?
That was part of their agreement, yes, ma'am. We've been working with them every single day. I would like to say this week, but I would have said this week, last week.
So what is their issue?
They thought that we were set up online, and then we weren't set up online. As you know, this is our first time with ADP. Gina Waters, our payroll supervisor, has been working directly with ADP to get these online. We did have to provide them with some additional information, but that's since been provided. So the ball's in their court at this point.
Okay, my next question, and I've asked you this before, Gary, and I understand both situations. As far as our financial, your financial team, I understand the global issues and I understand the individual issues. Are we working on both, or are we concentrating on the global that sometimes fix the individuals? Are we concentrating on the individuals that sometimes fix the global? Where are we with?
Right now, the
because
payroll
I know both
supervisor.
situations affect all both errors. So where are we?
The payroll supervisor is working with the Orbit file. She's really the only one back there that can do Orbit. We just had a lady that's been out for quite some time. She's returned today. We still have a vacancy, but they are working both. We're working the individual issues. We have way too many. This is not an acceptable number, but they're working through those as quickly as we can. The global issues, as I recall, the Orbit would be the payroll supervisor. The multiple deductions, those really have to be looked at individually, and the comp time has to be looked at globally. So that's being worked on from a Cherry Road standpoint.
So you're telling me they're being worked on simultaneously?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Dedman?
Yeah, first of all, Gary, I have great sympathy for your people working over there, but I also have tremendous feelings for our teachers. I mean,
Yes,
when will this go away? I mean, can we throw any money at having more people? I mean, I asked the superintendent, can we sue Oracle? I mean, whose fault is all this? And when can we help our teachers? I mean, because we don't need to lose any more teachers.
Right. I agree. So the ongoing payrolls over the last several months have been much cleaner. What we're trying to do is catch up on all the stuff that went wrong back in 2022. And that, the further we get from when something messed up, the longer it takes to go through, because you got to go all the way back to when it messed up. But I'd like to say we're ongoing is in good shape certainly compared to where we've been, but.
Are there other school systems in the state that are using the same program right now?
Not right now. Guilford is going with Oracle. DPI is going with Oracle. I think DPI is converting in October of this year, and I'm not sure about Guilford.
Well, I know they know the problems that we're having. I mean,
Right.
Have those people been in contact with you or anybody of us or Dr. Booker?
Not to my, they have not been in contact with me. I'm not sure if they talked to
Well,
Dr.
I'm
Booker.
willing to spend any kind of
Now-
money we have to get it fixed for our teachers.
Now I have been in contact with DPI quite a bit. The head of the SBSM project at DPI, I do talk with them quite often. We actually texted on something
I heard
today.
on the national news this morning that 60% of the people that live in America live paycheck to paycheck. And
Yes.
I'm sure a first-year teacher or a 10-year teacher, that's has to be affecting them. And I mean,
Right.
it's a sad situation for them and for us. I mean, our board cares nothing about except to be the best school system we can. We want our employees to be happy, we want everybody to be happy, our students, and this is really a thorn for us. So as quick as we can get this solved, we have tried to find a kid that could do this too, because I've seen some of these real smart kids. I mean, I don't know enough about it to tell our teachers how to do it. Okay, I have no idea. But I know that we need to fix it.
I agree. Ms. Guthrie? Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Lovelace?
Yes, ma'am. So there are two systems that DPI has deemed to be modern systems. That is the Oracle Cloud and Tyler Munis. Tyler Munis has been adopted by, I think, New Hanover. They have had a number of issues as well. And I would not want to put our people, our teachers, our staff through another computer conversion. At this point, it would be devastating, in my opinion.
But at some point in time, we're gonna have to jump off this train. Just like every employee in Gaston County is held accountable for his or her position. Teachers are held accountable, administrators are held accountable. And that should also work all the way up to the county office. I'm sorry, but that has to be done. And Dr. Booker, I became a certified teacher in 1978, and I've worked for many superintendents. Many of these superintendents' names I just decided not to remember because they weren't good for Gaston County schools. Now you, on the other hand, you have moved Gaston County forward in so many ways. One of the ways, I just noticed a couple billboards on the way down here tonight, is with their choice schools. That is one of the ways that we are reaching so many more kids. We're touching into their aptitudes, their abilities, their interests, and offering them so much more than we used to offer in education. But you know what? This Oracle hit us in January of 2002, and it's just a dark cloud, Dr. Booker, that's hovering over everything good that you've done for Gaston County schools. This is how we're going to be remembered, is through Oracle. I had lunch at Cherville High School with a former student who is also a colleague of mine. I worked with her before I retired. And another teacher came in, also same situation, former student and a colleague, a teacher. And she said to me, she says, Miss Lovelace, she said, I don't trust a single person in Gaston County Schools senior administrative staff. And she said, I don't trust one of the 9 of you board members. Well, my jaw just dropped. And I said, darling, I said, that includes me. She said, yes, ma'am, it does include you. She said, where have y'all been for 13 months? It's time for something to move or get off the pot. I mean, things have to happen. Our teachers, our administrators, or who are doing a lot of their duty now is calling down to talk to you or somebody in finance when they should be walking in and observing teachers in a classroom. I don't know how much more we can take. Dr. Booker, I implore you to please jump on this, get rid of this dark cloud, and I know you're the man that can do it. Let's get this over and done with, move on. We've got to do something. We have to come to the round table. Enough of anything's enough. Thank you, educators, for being here tonight. And I am sorry. If I knew how to fix it, I would. I'll hush now.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lovelace. Ms. Guthrie.
Well, I've talked enough this evening, but I have a few remarks to make in regards to the challenge that we're facing with our teachers here in Gaston County. Earlier, I talked about the wonderful things that were happening in Gaston County schools and how proud I was, and I am very proud. But in order to make those things happen, you've got to have leaders who are fully committed to the job. And if you cannot rest or relax knowing that you're going to get a paycheck at the end of the month. How can you do what you said you were hired to do, teachers? We applaud you for what you're doing. Now, I have some questions in regards to Mr. Hoskins. You know that I believe in giving a person the time to correct mistakes. I certainly believe that. And I can be your best cheerleader, but I can also ask you, what happened to that team that was supposed to be traveling around to the different schools to hear the concerns that teachers had when they wanted to express what was happening with their paychecks? I thought that team was going to be a team that would work throughout the duration of trying to correct the problems that currently exist in finance. I didn't know that they were just going to gather information and bring it back to you and nothing happened as far as a follow-up. I'm hearing a lack of communication, and I think, we can all more or less tolerate things when they're not the way that we want them to be, as long as there's communication. And I think we are in dire need of having that. It's just not there from what I've heard this evening. And, I hear we're working to get that, or we're working on that. And just as my colleague said earlier, we've been working for a very long time. And if we had our teachers in the classroom working on a skill or a project, and they continue to tell us, we're working on that, and they never get it done, well, we're going to wonder, why are we paying you to be in that classroom? So, we've got some concerns that we really are, we want to see some things addressed. And I strongly believe that, you give your best to the children. And I would expect that our teachers expect us to be their strongest advocates for them when they are in the classroom, and we have high expectations for them. So we're going to advocate to resolve this as quickly as we can.
Thank you, Ms. Guthrie. Mr. Stevens?
Thank you, Chairman. This definitely breaks my heart with what you guys are having to endure. And I want to mention this because I believe that Dr. Booker and Mr. Hoskins are too much of a gentleman to not take all the blame on their shoulders. But we've been mandated to modernize our systems, right? And so we don't want to point to the folks that have told us which systems that we have to use or which ones qualify. It's a sad state of affairs that we've been given two systems that are broken. And we're trying to do our very best to use the one that I think that Mr. Hoskins and his team is working very hard to find the solutions to get it fixed. And my understanding from the conversation tonight is we're more than halfway there. And if we switch and we go to Tyler Muni's, it could set us back to Jump Street. And I don't want to go back to Jump Street. I do want to figure this out. And I know that everybody here wants to get this figured out. Teachers, I have 2 teachers in my family, so it hits home, and I do care. But I will say this. We've talked about this at the last meeting. We don't have the infrastructure. We don't have the teammates in payroll in Mr. Hoskins' team to be able to communicate the way we want to. And so what I suggest is we got to find some more folks. Teresa, that's here tonight, she found me at a Belmont Abbey Christmas party and said, hey, I'll come volunteer. I work in payroll. I'll come volunteer to help. There's got to be other people out there in Gaston County and surrounding areas that see us struggling, that care about the students, that care about the parents, that can help communicate. We want to do the best job we can for y'all because we know that y'all are doing an amazing job. For years, I hung my head when people asked me where I was from to say I was from Gaston County. I didn't want to tell people I was from Gaston County because they'd make fun of me. The girl that I married, when we first started dating, I said, I'm not going back to Gaston County. I live in Mecklenburg now. I'm not going back. But let me tell you something. You guys on a daily basis make me proud. And I'm happy to say I'm from Gaston County. I'm happy to say I'm on the Board of Education. You guys do that for me. What you do for our children does that for me. My kids are in Gaston County schools right now. You're doing a great job. Hang in there with us. Please, we need y'all. Mr. Hoskins, Dr. Booker, please, let's find some folks to get in that office, to learn the systems, to be able to communicate to these folks so they know what's going on, so that we can encourage them. So they're not going to other counties. So they're not going to South Carolina. So they're staying here in Gaston County so they can be just as proud to be here as what I am. Thank y'all for being here tonight, teachers. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. Yes.
Not only are our teachers suffering there, but also our bus drivers. Okay, also our people that work in the cafeteria. So, I mean, there's more than just teachers. So it's affected everybody, and those are important people. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Devon. Ms. Cherry? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Go ahead,
Go
Mr.
ahead.
Chris.
Mr. Hoskins, particularly in regard to state retirement, with the exception of 401K, 403Bs, any of those. I understand that our system is not communicating correctly with the state treasurer's office. Is that correct? And there are issues on both ends in terms of our report format and their ability to receive it?
That is the primary issue that we have, yes.
Okay. And then secondly to that, it is also my understanding, and I've had some questions about this from teachers and folks in the system, that although their orbit may not be reflecting their current months of service, that as long as they are still with the system, that there is no penalty to them, and that it will eventually, as long as they're with the system, it will reflect their years of service. They're not losing years of service credit.
Correct.
In our current situation.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
All right.
May I just ask one more question, please?
Yes, that'd be fine, Ms. Cook.
Mr. Hoskin, as far as the team of folk that traveled to the various schools prior to 2023, are they still available to provide updates to the various schools that may still have questions?
That team was from academic services, and they were there to gather facts for payroll and finance. They are not able to resolve the issues that were communicated to them. They were there to just gather them and put them in one place so that we could have those, all of those together in one spot, and that's where we have them at this point.
I understand that. I understand the compilation of concerns that they gathered when they traveled to the schools, but once they brought that information back to you and you processed that information, who's collaborating or communicating with the teachers now or with the schools?
It depends. If it was a global issue and it was resolved globally, it was not necessarily communicated. If all the EPI teachers were fixed at one time, individual issues, it would be whoever's working on that issue. It'd be somebody from payroll, either through email or phone call. But, I will say that during, the middle of 2022, when a lot of those issues were resolved, there was no communication. And sometimes people had issues in January, February, March, and they may have been fixed in June, but nobody said anything to them, so they thought they were still out there. And so we had to go back and research it and find those issues. So that's on us for not communicating that. But, as we get fewer and fewer and we're able to manage them better, we're trying to communicate better, but I'm not going to tell you that we're perfect on our communication because we're trying to resolve issues as quickly as we can, but we are trying to do a better job than we did last year at communication.
And do you keep a daily log of the number of concerns or emails that you get each day so that you'll know how to prioritize and get information out?
So we're working with TSS on a better communication system, both from our employees to communicate and then to be able to track those issues, see who picks it up, see where it is. But we're not to the point where we're ready to roll that out. So right now, we have a variety of methods of people communicating. Sometimes they communicate, directly to finance or payroll. Sometimes they communicate to the board. I've had some communicate to other politicians, and we get 2 or 3 different, people responding on the same issue. We actually had 2 payroll people working on the same issue. So we're trying to get a little more efficient. We're not there yet. But, you can't blame somebody for, asking, as many people as they can if we've not yet resolved their issues. So we've got to do a better job on our end of at least communicating that we're, aware of their issue and assigning it to somebody that can fix that issue. So that's what we're trying to
Once a
work towards.
concern is addressed or an issue expressed, what would you say the turnaround time is?
I don't know that I can give you a good answer to that. If it's an issue it depends on how difficult the issue is, honestly, and how old the issue is. Like I said, the older issues take a little more time. Depends on whether we're running payroll that week. So it's not as quickly as it should be, but I can't give you an answer.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Lovelace?
No,
You're last.
I've been waiting forever.
That's why you're vice chair, you get to wait last.
I'm reading from a text message that I received today. It said, please keep talking about this and get things corrected ASAP. Send out another Google form to the county and ask everyone if their issues have been resolved. I think you will be surprised at how many people are still waiting for fixes to mixing pay, incorrect compensation time, over and under deductions for benefits, missing time off from conversion of old to new system, and so on. So I know that you have sent out one, if you could do that again.
Well, we do have a Google form that we continue to update. That Google form is not really our answer. I think Dr. Slutsky has worked with the ticketing system with other items, and I think that's a better answer because it's more interactive, whereas a Google form is not. And, one of the issues that we have is communicating back to our employees and letting them know that they're not being ignored if somebody is now looking into their issue. So that's still a little ways down the road because, we're still working the Google Sheet right now.
All right, Ms.
Okay,
Cherry,
last thing,
best for
and
last.
then let's move on. What I would encourage you to look into, Gary, we contract out a lot of services in our district. Let's look at seeing if we can contract out to find help. Because we know you have a awesome staff, but it's short-staffed. And if we can get some good contract help that knows finance, none of us do.
Right.
I think that really would help all the way around to get some of these issues resolved. So I encourage you to
thank
look
you.
into that. So,
Thank you.
and thank all of our staff. Y'all are amazing, all of you.
Mr. Chairman, I have one last word. We asked our teachers to respond to emails and parents within 24 hours. I think that's what it is. And I would hope that we could find some way to respond to them in 24 hours. If we're asking them to do it to parents, and I think we ought to be able to do that to them. So I wish we could work towards that. Hire somebody like Dot says, hire somebody to communicate with them so they know they are being heard. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay, next item on the agenda is Gaston County Schools Calendar 2023 and 2024. This is an action item. Dr. Khan.
Good evening, Chairman Ramsey, Vice Chairman Cherry, distinguished board members, and Superintendent Booker. There is a recommendation on the action agenda tonight that the Board of Education consider and approve a 2023-24 calendar for Gaston County Schools. Thank you for giving me a few minutes to review the school calendar survey results that were reviewed at the January board meeting. As a reminder, we have a calendar committee that is guided by General Statute 115C 84.2. The committee is composed of school-based administrators, teachers, classified employees, parents, community members, and central office staff. The committee met back in November. 3 sample calendars for the 23-24 school year were created for consideration. We labeled those A, B, and C, with C aligning with the calendar approved by the board for the 22-23 school year. In January of 2023, a calendar survey was made available for students, parents, employees, and community members to provide input on the 3 sample calendars. All stakeholders were given an opportunity to review and provide feedback on those draft calendars. We had an overwhelming response this year. We had 6,018 survey respondents. That is a very high participation number. When we look back at the prior couple of years, that's a 286% increase from the 2022 survey that had 2,103 responses. And during the 2021 calendar survey period, there were 532 survey responses. So again, we had a very high participation rate in the survey this year. There were 5 questions on the survey, and the first question asked, which of the following groups best applies to you? Employee, student, parent or guardian, community member, or other. This next slide shows you the demographics of those who participated in the survey. Of the 6,018 survey responses, 51.6%, or 3,103, were completed by parents or guardians. Represented in orange on the pie chart, employees contributed 33.3%, or 2,001 of the survey responses, and that's represented in the light blue color. Students made up 11.2%, with 674 responding, and that's the darkish blue navy color on the chart. Community members made up 3%, with 180 responses, and that's the tealish color. It's kind of a different shade blue there in the chart. And 1%, or 60 respondents, described themselves as other. There was no additional descriptors with the other category. It could have been someone who found themselves in multiple categories and decided to mark other. So next, we will take a look at the 3 sample calendars. So this first one we have here is sample calendar A. For this sample calendar, the first day of school is August the 28th, 2023. The last day of school is June the 5th, 2024. The mid-year semester break and high school exams are in January. The 2 semesters are balanced, 88 days first semester, 87 days second semester. Question 2 on the survey asked respondents, do you like the sample A school calendar? 15.1% supported the calendar, with 908 survey respondents indicating they like the calendar, which is represented in orange on the pie chart. 84.9% did not favor the calendar, with 5,110 respondents answering the question no, and that's represented in blue on the chart. Sample calendar B. For this sample calendar, the first day of school is August the 28th, 2023. The last day of school is June the 5th, 2024. The mid-year semester break and high school exams are in December. The 2 semesters are not balanced. There's 77 days first semester and 98 days second semester. Asking a similar question, question 3 asked respondents, do you like sample calendar B? 16.3% liked sample calendar B, with 983 of the respondents answering yes On our pie chart, that's represented in orange again. 83.7% did not favor the calendar with 5,035 respondents answering no, and that is in blue. Sample calendar C. For this sample calendar, the first day of school is August the 16th, 2023. The last day of school is May 22nd, 2024. The mid-year semester break and high school exams are in December. The 2 semesters are balanced, 85 days first semester, 89 days second semester, and this sample resembles the calendar that was approved by the Board of Education for the current 2022-23 academic year. When we look at our responses for this question, this was survey question 4, similar question. Do you like sample C school calendar? 85.1% supported the sample C calendar with 5,119 survey respondents answering yes, and that's represented again in orange. And 14.9% did not favor sample calendar C with 899 of the respondents answering no to the question, and again, that's represented in blue. Patterns of calendar support. So on this slide, I have the slide from 9, 11, and 13 all compiled onto one slide so that you can see those at a glance. Again, to remind you, if it's in orange, that was yes, they favored that calendar. If it's in blue, that their answer was no, they did not like that calendar. So just a quick review, sample A, 15.1% of the respondents liked sample A in orange, while 84.9% did not in blue. Sample B, 16.3% liked the calendar, in contrast to 83.7% not liking the calendar. For sample C, 85.1% of respondents liked the calendar in orange, in comparison with 14.9% not liking the calendar represented in blue. Please note that a respondent could answer that they liked multiple calendars in questions 2 through 4. So therefore, we asked a 5th question. The 5th question asked, of the 3 sample calendars, which one do you prefer the most? The data in this chart demonstrates that all demographic groups, community member, employee, other, parent, guardian, and student, all demographic groups preferred the sample C calendar with 81.74% of the respondents preferring C. The next most supported option was calendar A with 9.52%, followed by calendar B with 8.74%. Survey respondents were provided the opportunity to share their comments about each sample calendar. The topics with the highest number of responses centered around the importance of completing first semester and exams in December, creating balanced semesters if at all possible, and holding graduation in early June. And that concludes our review of the sample school calendar survey data. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions?
Ms. Cherry has a comment.
No, I don't have any questions, but I have a comment. First, I want to thank all the respondents. That is absolutely amazing that we had that kind of input from all of our stakeholders. So, thank you to our parents, to our staff, and to our kids. That's amazing and very impressive. So, thank you, Dr. Cohn.
We had a great response rate.
Any more questions or comments? This is an action item, so I will need a motion for adopted calendar 2023-2024. Mr. Chris. Second by Mr. Kinlaw. Any other discussion? All in favor? That's unanimous. Oh, well, yeah. Okay, thank you. That's unanimous, Dana. I assume you have the other calendar too, Gaston Early College calendar.
Yes, sir. So next, I would like to present the Gaston Early College High School calendar proposal. The Gaston Early College High School and the Gaston Early College of Medical Sciences of North Carolina Cooperative Innovative High Schools are located on the Gaston College main campus in Dallas. Each year, the school calendar, it's separate from the school calendar used by Gaston County Schools, is created for Gaston Early College High School and Gaston Early College of Medical Sciences that aligns with the Gaston College semester calendar. This is necessary primarily to accommodate the college-level courses that are taken by the early college students. It's standard practice for administration from the Gaston Early College High School and the Gaston Early College of Medical Sciences to work with administration from the Gaston College to develop a draft calendar. This practice was followed in creating the draft calendar for the 2023-24 academic year. The draft calendar for the 2023-24 year is similar to the early college calendars used in previous years. North Carolina General Statute 115C 84.2 guides the development of the school calendar. However, North Carolina Cooperative Innovative High Schools have flexibility in developing a school calendar to ensure that it aligns appropriately with the community college calendar and semester schedule. When we take a look at the proposed calendar that you had in your packets, on the proposed calendar, the first day of school for students is August the 9th, 2023, and the last day is May 17th, 2024. Mid-year semester break and high school exams are in December, and the two semesters are balanced with 86 days each, and again, it is aligned with the Gaston College. Does anyone have any questions?
Okay, Mr. Dabney, second. Ms. Lovelace, any discussion, questions? All in favor? That's unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, next up is our EOG, EOC Summer School, and this is an information item. Dr. Powers. And congratulations.
Thank you. Good evening, Chairman Ramsey, Vice Chair Cherry, members of the board, and Superintendent Booker. Tonight, I'm coming to you to share information about our end-of-grade and end-of-course summer school testing option that we offer to our students. We have been doing this for multiple years to support our students that need a second opportunity to take those assessments. One of the requirements by the state is that we receive approval from our local Board of Education for these items so that our students are able to participate in additional offering of a summer experience with end-of-grade and end-of-course testing. For this year, we are requesting that 3rd through 8th grade have a reading and math opportunity retest at the end of the year, as well as our 5th and 8th grade science students. This will be offered if they need this opportunity with remediation built in between the first and second assessment. We will also be asking you for the same for our high school students in the areas of biology, Math 1, Math 3, and English 2. We will bring this plan to you for approval at the March board meeting. Thank you, Chairman Ramsey. That's all I have.
Has this changed from our, what we did last year?
No, ma'am. Just the dates will change according to the calendar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is Camp Gaston. This is an information item. Dr. Jackson.
Chairman Ramsey, Vice Chair Cherry, members of the board, Superintendent Booker, thank you for allowing me to share the learning opportunities our students will have at our camps during the month of June. Elementary, middle, and high schools, along with the exceptional children's department, will offer summer camps. The main focus of those summer camps will be on small group instruction, accelerating learning and relationship building, and our teachers will also have an opportunity for professional learning before and during our summer camps. For elementary schools, the state law requires us to offer a Read to Achieve reading camp for all students in grade 1st, 2nd, and 3rd. But we also extend that invitation to our rising kindergarten, 4th, and 5th grade students. All of this is part of our literacy intervention plan that was approved by the Department of Public Instruction. We also are required to ensure that we have highly qualified teachers teaching the camp, which we use our EOG data and growth data from EVOS to make those decisions. And we also are required to offer 72 hours of reading instruction for our students. These are our 7 locations for our elementary camps. And we also try our very best to make sure we have a 1 to 15 student to teacher ratio. Aspire is our after-school program that is offered at HH Beam, Lingerfeld, Pleasant Ridge, and Woodhill. We will extend that offer through the summer for those students, and it will be held at HH Beam. And the biggest difference between our Read to Achieve camp is the dates are June 12th through the 29th and also July 10th through the 27th. For middle schools, we will offer this for rising 6th through 8th grade students, and it will have a focus on integrating our core instruction with a focus on career exploration in partnership with our CTE department, and also focus on STEAM instruction. For high school, for our rising 9th through 10th grade students, they will be offered instruction in reading and math that's personalized. It will also help them understand what it takes to be successful in a reading and math course in high school. Students will also, in our rising 10th through 12th graders, will be offered a session on how to be successful on the SAT and ACT, and all high schools will offer credit recovery for students. For our exceptional children's, AIG camp will be held at Catawba Heights, WC Friday, and Ashbrook. Our EC camps will be held at Webb Street, and for our multilingual learners, we will have a camp at Pleasant Ridge, Mount Holly, and Ashbrook. Our deadline for student registration is May 12th, and we also will offer a website this year where teachers and parents will be able to get up-to-date information on our camps. Thank you.
Dr. Jackson, were there only 2 sites for middle school?
Yes.
Yeah, Mount Holly and WC Friday.
Wow.
So if we go back to elementary, because we have on average about 2,000 students, we need more sites. But I think with our middle school students, because we have a smaller number of students participating, what we've seen in the past, the 2-site works, and we can still offer what we need to middle school students.
Does anybody have any
Well, I want
comments?
to
or-
add to
Okay, go
Dr.
ahead.
Jackson's presentation. You get a lot of questions about ESSER money and where all it's gone. This is an example of how money was budgeted for 3 years. And so you're able to continue this program into a 3rd year because of the utilization of those funds based on what we budgeted from the start. So I think we're one of the districts that put the majority of our funds into academic improvements. And so this is an example of how we're continuing to do that.
Yeah, and I've asked legislators to keep supporting these summer camps even after Esther. I mean, we see a big benefit for this. We all know with COVID, we're still recovering no matter what they say it might, but definitely it helps tremendously in the summer. This brings us to the consent agenda. I hope you had time to look over the 5 items, and I need a motion. This is action. Mr. Dedman makes a motion. Ms. Cherry seconds it. Any discussion? All in favor? So, all right, this brings us to our superintendent's comments.
I would like to piggyback on something you said earlier about our Smarter Than a Fifth Grader competition that was held on February 9th. Lowell Elementary was the ultimate winner, along with Dominion Energy, who was their business partner. One of the highlights of the whole evening was that the Tyndall Subaru, as part of Subaru's Share the Love campaign, contributed a $12,000 check to the Education Foundation. These are proceeds that are used. These proceeds fund our Ron Inslee grants, which are grants that we do locally to support our teachers and have been great seeds for programs that are then implemented across the district. Not to be outdone, but Courage Kia met with us, and from a campaign they did where they pledged to give $200 for each car sold over a period of time, they gave us a check for $14,400. to have a positive impact on supporting our schools and students. Their general manager has a great story about his role and what public education played in his life. And he gave that money and committed to continue to see ways that he could support our schools. So we appreciate that. In January, we were able to go around and recognize our 5 Teacher of the Year finalists, and want to name those because we haven't been in front of our viewers for that. But Jamie Monk of Highland School of Technology, Michael Kaufman of East Gaston High School, Lindsay Dickerson Beverly of Forest View High School, Joanna Kirk Dotson of Tryon Elementary, and Melissa Clements of Belmont Middle are all our 5 finalists for Teacher of the Year and will be recognized at our Evening of Excellence ceremonies. Last week, we went around and recognized our 5 Principal of the Year finalists, and they are Justin Bean of North Belmont, Jamie Wallace of Brookside Elementary, Brian Denton of Hunter Huss High School, Jessica Steiner of Stuart W. Kramer High School, and Sheila Wyant of Bessemer City High School. And again, all of those will be recognized at our Evening of Excellence in May. Looking ahead on the calendar, we have a number of events coming up. We would start with reminding everybody that their deadline for choice applications is March 3rd at 5 p.m. March 3rd at 5 p.m. You can go to our school choice webpage and review all of the 22 choices that we are offering for the 23-24 academic year. Also, if you have a son or daughter who is eligible for pre-kindergarten and kindergarten for next year, you can go to the website and register your child. That helps us with projecting enrollments at respective schools. So we encourage all folks to do that.
Dr. Booker,
Yes, sir.
where's the key of money the 14,000 go to?
He has designated it to supplement students in need, and so we're working on the various identities. As you know, our guidance counselors, social workers do a great job of identifying those needs, and he wanted to fund things for, like scholarships for field trips, and if students are lacking in other things.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. The Robo Gaston competition is Saturday, March 4th at Forest View High School, and you all are usually attend and see some of that as a great opportunity. You'll see more than 100 of our elementary and middle school students participating in robot program. It runs throughout the morning and tries to, around lunchtime, present the awards for it. Also, we have an art show that will begin on the 15th of March with our Gaston County High School Senior Art Show at the Jeannie Rauch Gallery at Gaston College. There'll be a reception from 5:30 until 7:30 p.m. with an awards presentation at 6 p.m. You all are invited to attend that. And finally, March 9th is our Parent-Teacher Conference Day, so students will be dismissed early and conferences will be held from 1 until 7 p.m. And anyone who would like to reach out and schedule a conference with their school, we're encouraging them to do that. Mr. Chair, that is my comments, but we do have need for a closed session, and it will be of length.
Okay. And I didn't make any comments a minute ago about the payroll because I think we all know the situation, but I tell people when I'm out to ball games, pageants, football games, basketball, they go, how's it going? I said, well, I thought COVID was bad enough, and we navigated really well considering the situation we dealt with until we met Mr. Payroll. And that was devastating. But I can tell you, I know everybody's frustrated, but I can tell you, New Hanover has fired Tyler and then rehired Tyler, but one thing we've done is kept the course. And that's what I've told our staff. We'll keep the course. We were not built for customer service. We know that. We never have been. This is like the 100-year virus that we had. It's something that we'd never experienced in our whole life. I know we get frustrated, but these two guys, Gary and Dr. Booker, are the best of the best in the state of North Carolina. 3 or 4 of us went to the Superintendent of the Year of North Carolina. He's in the top 3. I can tell you, people like Elon Musk or anybody had this, they couldn't have figured it out either. they had enough money in deep pockets, they could get people there. People don't even realize we fly a guy from Houston every week for Oracle to help us, and we're paying for every bit of that. We have done everything we can possibly. We can't find people to work, period. Payroll or even to answer the phones. Y'all know as teachers, we're shorthanded. It's everywhere across the state. Dot and I met with a lot of leaderships of these counties. Mecklenburg County's got 400 teachers vacant right now. And we do too, but not that many. But I know we're all frustrated as board members, but we can't throw darts at each other because we're all in this together. So I just wanted to speak on behalf of the board that, yeah, we hear you. We know it's there. We're 2/3 down the road. We got a third left. We're going to finish the job. So just hang in there and be patient. Now, I know you've been patient. I shouldn't say that. It's been 13 months. I can see your head shaking. And it's frustrating. I know it. But I can tell you, if you want to complain, DPI and them gave it to us. And they gave you two choices. Until they change it, we can't change it. I know Robbie mentioned, won't we just throw them to the side and get somebody else? Well, that's not our job. We can't do that. So, and it breaks my heart to hear somebody said you can't trust us. Man, we got the finest people you can trust on this board and in our staff. Now, I know y'all shaking your head, but I can tell you that I know these people personally, and I would put my reputation on it. And, it's tough on us to listen to it too. So we understand, and like all our board members mentioned, we know who makes it all work, the teachers and the staff. We just up here to set policy. And it's heartbreaking for all of us to sit here and see this. But I do know our staff and everybody's working hard as they can go. It's something that is like a car that you bought before, and it's a lemon. You fix it, it'll never get fixed. And like you said, you want to get rid of it, but you can't. We're state mandated, and we have to carry on. So thank y'all for coming tonight. So our next regular meeting is currently scheduled for March 20th, 2023. Also, I mentioned both our committees will meet March the 6th. Ms. Guthrie will be the chair of Curriculum and Instruction Committee, and Mr. Brent Moore will be our chair of Operation Committee. So now I need a motion to go into closed session. Ms. Cherry. Okay.
Do that. I would be remiss if I didn't say this. We are a board, but we have individual differences and opinions. And I just want it made clear that we understand we don't want to lose the very best that we have. That's why we are listeners, so that we can hear and correct any issues that may arise from what we have been experiencing for over a year. I do not want to hear that we are going to lose X number of teachers because we could not, as a board, advocate for what is best for our district. That's all that I want. I want to clarify that although we are a board, I am an individual and I hear what our educators are saying.
Thank you, Ms. Guthrie. Ms. Cherry?
Mr. Chair, we need to have a closed session under the North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11A6 for personnel and A3 consultation with attorney to consult on matters with our attorney. Sorry, I'm getting tired.
Yeah, it's getting late. Okay, to have a second. Mr. Moore, any discussion? All in favor in closed session? That's unanimous.
Sorry about this, Sonia.
Adjourn. We're back in open session, and I'd like to clarify the Gaston County School calendar for 2023 and 2024, that we had a motion for calendar C from Mr. Crisp, and Mr. Kinlaw second, and it was a unanimous vote. So now I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Booker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. I would like to recommend Eric Terrence Barton Jr. for a 2-year contract to serve as an assistant principal in Gaston County Schools.
Dr. Parker, I want to make a motion that we accept that recommendation.
Mr. Dedman, second. All in favor? That's unanimous.
Thank you. I have no other appointments tonight.
All right. Second, Mr. Stevens. All in favor? We're adjourned. Good evening.